injecting oneself. So there is that system where the body gets into a situation that if you stop, those nerves react. And that is, like he says, delirium tremens. His hands, he can't pick this glass, the hands are shaking.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, his brain is disorientated. He used the word disillusioned, and they get confused, and they are no longer productive. Meanwhile, many other things are happening in their bodies, George. I would mention them now, like the liver is rotting, slowly rotting, and we say it's getting cirrhotic. The upper part of the abdomen, the stomach, the gastric bag is getting too heavy, a dose of acid. Alcohol has very heavy acid content. It's always pH acidic. And therefore, they are definitely going to end up with stomach ulcers and eventually even cancer. Cancers of the esophagus, the gullet, they get cancers of the gullet. It develops very slowly. And then finally, you find as the nerves get destroyed. By the way, it's important to say this one, that as they drown a glass upon a glass, what happens is that it destroys nerves of the brain. And once a nerve is destroyed, it cannot be recreated. There is no way of repairing nerves. So slowly he becomes a vegetable. He was very active, and he slowly becomes lazy. He would doze off in a minute. You find the other organs, like the kidneys, are getting destroyed. You find the brain, as the brain goes, they are suicidal tendencies, and they miscalculate very many things. So once somebody has a dose, even as little as 3 beer bottles, 3 bottles of beer, there is a miscalculation. The distance he thinks is 20 meters is actually 5 meters. There is a miscalculation. All this is medical, and they no longer are eating properly because they are, most of their time they are looking for alcohol. Appetite goes. There is a center in the brain, we call it a sciatic center, and that sciatic center gets depressed. And finally, he has no nutritional foods, so especially the B complexes and the proper carbohydrates and the proteins and the vitamins that we always talk about. So the person slowly becomes a vegetable.
A vegetable, in a vegetative state.
A vegetative.
Thank you,
Right.
Dr. Kibe. And while talking about addiction, there are stages of addiction, I understand, just from what Edwin has talked about. And there's a question that has just come in. I want to tie it down with the stages of addiction. And the question is from Mutua. Mutua is from Makueni County. And he says, I'm in a good job, a respected leader. I love beer after I had domestic problems. Today, my friends are in beer. Please help me come out of this. And we can tackle Mutua's problem in response to stages of addiction. Catherine, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like we had said, stages of addiction actually start with experimenting, and we saw that very well in the story. You just start for the curiosity part of it. How does it feel? Before you realize, you're now using it socially. You've experimented, you like it. Like Dr. said, there's a center in your brain which likes what you got. And now with your friends, you find it's something you do. You say probably we drink every Friday evening after work or something like that, or after school. So you're already into the second stage, we call the social stage. You're using to socialize with other people. Before you realize, it becomes an habit. It's habitual. It's something you do. And even at this stage, which is the third stage, people will get to know. They'll say probably, Daktari, after work, you find him at this place. They know his place. And once you get there, even the bar girl or whoever is selling will not be asking you, what are we giving you today? They already know your brand because it's already an habit. So they know it's 2 Tuskers or it's 2 Guineas or whatever it is. Very cold. They know that's how you take it. Before you realize, you're already moving down. The unfortunate thing, there is no clear cut how you sink down or how you don't. It's already now influential. You use it to influence the way you feel in your body. If you want to be happy, you say, oh, I really want to have fun. You know, you realize you can use it to change the way you're feeling inside your body. So when there is a party you're planning, we're going to have a big party, so we really must have fun. You're already sinking down. The last stage, unfortunately, is now the stage you're calling addiction. At this level, the brain has taken over your life, and the drink has taken over. Like we saw even in the story, when you start using, like in the experimental stage, it's a choice. You decide, do I want to test this beer? Does it taste nice? Does it taste bad? By the time you are at the addiction stage, it's not a choice. It's no longer a choice. Already you are sick. Your body now is, things have taken up. The physiology has changed. So you get what we call cravings. You have a very strong urge to take whatever it is. And addiction, we also need to be clear, it's not only for beer. Like it has come out, it can be to any other thing. It could be banky, it could be mirror, it could be drugs of addiction, other things. So you already have a strong craving for the substance for which you're addicted to. And with this comes now what we call the physiological addiction. You find if you could take 2 beers and feel good, now 2 beers are not enough. You're already tolerant. You need more to get the same effect. And because you're looking for that high, you take 4, you take 6. 6 is not enough, you take 8, you take 10, you take 12. It's no longer enough to give you the effect you want. And your body gets used to dealing with those high levels of whatever substance it is. Keeps on going up. That is now tolerance. With that, if you stop, if you do not feed it to that level, then you start getting what we call withdrawal symptoms. And now those are so bad because it's the shaking you're seeing. You cannot do anything. We've heard even from the story, he has to leave like very early in the morning, even at 5 or 4. Even the one waking up, the bar person, please open up and give me a drink because I can't sleep, I can't concentrate. You're feeling so bad. You know, even the effects of the alcohol or whatever is in your body is so violent. So you're shaking badly, you have headaches, you have everything. So you really have to take something. And you realize you have to take something similar to what you're taking for you to feel better. So this just drives you back to take more alcohol. At this point now you realize if it's alcohol, it has taken the primary center of yourself. You're already neglecting your major role obligation. If you're a family person, you're not taking care of your family at this rate because you're going to divert family resources.
Channel them into alcohol.
Yeah, to channel them into alcohol. You are not going to go to work. If you're in school, for example, you will not meet your assignments.
It drives you out of work, actually.
It does. It drives you out of work. You drink yourself out of work.
And watu wanasema hakuna kazi.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate thing. People would think there is no work, but you are working and you didn't go to work, you got warning letters and you got sacked. So by the time you're in addiction, actually, using the drug, if it's alcohol, using alcohol has taken over your life. You drink for survival. You drink to avoid
it's become part of you.
Part of you. You can't really get out of it. And you find you're not now doing anything. You neglect your major roles of obligation. You're getting into accident. The police are arresting you because you're driving under the influence of alcohol. And you still continue to do it. So somebody who continues to do or to drink despite the negative effects they get, then this person is surely at the addiction level.
Okay, we are receiving positive feedback from Edwin's story, and I'm happy to report that it has changed a lot of people's perception. But Dr. Kebe, there's one particular message that has just come in. It's we are seeing cases of whereby in as much as our women are pregnant, but they still indulge into taking alcohol. So somebody is asking the effect it has on both the developing fetus and the mother during pregnancy.
It's important to say she's even lucky to have conceived because getting that into alcoholism reduces fertility drastically. Number 2, alcohol is one chemical. It's important now to see it as a chemical that in the body is a biochemical. It's in the body. And it goes past what we call the placental barrier to the fetus. So there are very many chances that this lady will, 1, miscarry. The second high chance is that even if she goes through the 9 months gestation, the baby will be underweight. The third is that this pregnant woman who is taking alcohol, of course, is gone through addiction, like Catherine has explained to us, and the baby is also addicted. The fetus is also addicted. Fourth is what we call court deaths. The baby comes out and it's born properly, is kept in the cot or wherever, in the nursery or in the maternity. And one morning, the nurse just walks in to find the baby dead. We have also noticed a lot of association of organs, that the baby from an addicted alcoholic woman will be born most likely with a hole in the heart, most likely with what we call the Down syndrome. These babies who will salivate and they are retarded. So it's very important for every mother who is planning to get a baby to get out of alcohol as early as possible. One, in order to raise fertility, and second, if she is drinking and she's carrying a baby, the baby could come out to be, let me use the proper word, a nuisance to society and to her, because if the baby is born and is retarded forever, that baby will never be useful to society. So there are very many reasons why women who want to become pregnant or who are already pregnant should keep off alcohol. And I want to add something, George,
Please,
before
briefly.
you. This one is, we are not talking only about the so-called second and third generation drinks. We are talking even about whiskeys, because some sophisticated ladies want to tell us, I don't drink those cheap
liquor.
stuff. No, even the foamy stuff, even the gins and the whiskeys.
Just keep off anything containing
Keep off
alcohol. in
anything
it.
containing alcohol.
Okay, thank you for that response. Our discussion is getting steaming by the moment. You can also contribute in by sending an SMS to 22366. I've just received another one, and is asking, is the society becoming tolerant to drinking? Because every state, literally walk down, you'll either see a wines and spirit shop, you'll see bars lined from building to building, and we are seeing these bars build under buildings. You find that the ground floor is the bar, and then going up are the tenants. So as a society, are we becoming tolerant to drinking?
Really, I could say yes. And Kenya, every society has a culture. And Kenya, we have a drinking culture. Nobody is going to raise eyebrows if you're not even taking care of your family because you're drunk. You've seen the levels at which people have gone to fight even the laws which have been put to curb and to try and limit drinking. So really, as a society, we have a big role to play to determine whether younger people are going to get into drinking or even we are going to drink. Because accessibility of drinks, especially bars, when they are accessible, they are behind or they are below your house where you sleep or where you stay. You easily walk there and get a drink. And when everybody is drinking and it's socially acceptable, then as a society, we really have to look at ourselves. What are our morals? What are we thinking about? And I've seen many people even complain. If you go to a bar and the barman does not sell you drinks because it's early or it's late, it's past drinking hours, you find people complaining. Or we are the ones asking them, lock us inside to beat the laws, if you are not supposed to be drinking past 11, you tell the barman, you close the doors, they will not know, and put off the lights, we drink in quiet. Well. Yeah, so I think we are contributing as a society.
Okay.
Yes.
And Peter, we had talked of withdrawal syndrome earlier on. And Peter, I think, has raised a very important question because we have alcoholics who are in remand and prison. Now, Peter is asking what happens to these remandees in prison who get withdrawal symptoms, because most of them seems like they pass on.
Yes, it is true that withdrawal symptoms are situations when that part of your brain, that part of your muscle, like the hands, the skeletal muscle, that was used to be calmed or made, softer or made active by alcohol. The minute it misses that alcohol, it reacts. There is, of course, more science to it. There is a chemical called acetylcholine. And once you get addicted, your levels of acetylcholine and your levels of adrenaline, epinephrine, this chemical, the hormone for fight or flight, they all get the complete imbalance. And when you talk about withdrawal symptoms, we have recorded very many deaths. When somebody tries to stop suddenly or even misses. I was telling of a case here in a high school recently where a Form 4 boy died when being rushed to hospital because of withdrawal symptoms of alcohol and cocaine. So the person, of course, who is in withdrawal, like we had the case of Edwin, he has delirium tremens. Some of them will not even see properly. Some of them will yawn, the whole morning, he can't work. And the eyes start tearing, he gets tears from the eyes. He feels confused in the head because the cerebral cortex, which we talked about, and the other centers like the sciatic center, the balance center in the brain, even the cardiac center, you get this fellow reaching what we call tachycardia. The heart is beating much faster because it is missing that calming effect. By the way, we classify alcohol in pharmacology as a sedative hypnotic. It hypnotizes you, it cheats you, and then it sedates you. It's cheating you that you are very rich, yet you can't even afford a pair of socks. It's cheating you that you are very powerful. A friend of mine says, when I'm drunk, I feel like a minister. So why do I want to become a minister anyway? So it's a liar. It tells lies. You find an Odimze who cannot take his child to high school. He has no fees. The minute he takes the 50 bottle, he starts shouting how rich he is to all and sundry. Okay. So it is a liar. It disorients. And the minute he starts to stop it, then he gets into the withdrawal symptoms.
Okay, thank you for that response. A lot of our viewers are responding, and from the addiction part, now seeking help for an addict. How do you start psychologically, Catherine?
Wow, it's not an easy thing. First, the addict himself may not be in a position to seek help. It's very few people who reach the point to say, I need help. Because addiction, as it is, we say it's a chronic relapsing disease, and it's a disease of denial. One of the last person who gets to know he has a problem is